Hi, Mike Kennedy with you. I'm going to review the movie His Only Son. This is a movie about Abraham and his only son, Isaac. And the movie starts with one of the pivotal points in Abraham's life, and that is when God calls him to sacrifice his son Isaac, his only son Isaac. And so in the context of him traveling to do that, he has to go to Mount Moriah, and there's all of these flashbacks. And so you do get a lot of the things that were happening in Abraham's life. I think some of the flashbacks you wouldn't get unless you had studied the Bible and knew the story of Abraham well, knew some of the things in the New Testament. And at one point, Abraham kind of has this vision thing, right? And it's only on the screen for like a second or two. At the end of this thing that he's experiencing, there's a stone that's rolled away from a tomb, and there's a bright light there. So it's like Jesus even said, Abraham saw my day and was glad. So Abraham was given a vision of the complete history of salvation. He knew that the people were going to be held in bondage in Egypt. They would be slaves. God would deliver them, and the Messiah would come, that Jesus Christ, the Son of God, God's only Son. And so it's kind of important to know that story. I guess that's what I'm saying for these finer points. If someone had no Bible knowledge, the movie would probably still be good, but it might raise a lot of questions. Now, the one thing that's technically an error is Abraham was wealthy. Abraham had lots of blocks. It seems that, as I would say, as a witness to other people, God blessed Abraham with all kinds of material goods constantly so that they would know that Abraham was in touch with God. Back then in the ancient world, people made the assumption, and this isn't always true, but they made the assumption, you're rich, God has blessed you because you're righteous, and something going wrong in your life, you're poor, you're in debt, that's because you're a sinner. You've sinned too much. And we know that isn't completely true, but I think in this case, God was blessing Abraham with all kinds of material goods and spiritual because he wanted him to stand out. And that isn't portrayed in the movie. It looks like they have some far shots, that look like they were shot by a drone or something maybe. And Abraham's camp, and it's just this little band of people. It's not many people, and there's not huge flocks. And so I think that partially was because of the choice, because of the budget the film had, okay? The film cost only $250,000 to make. That's nothing compared to what other movies. Other movies, they might even be paying a star $10 million. Well, this movie cost $250,000 to make. I don't know if that includes costs of distribution or not, but in the theaters, it took basically $14 million in. So that's like, 50 times the initial 250,000. So that's really good. I mean, nowadays a movie might cost 150 million, and it may gross 300 million, and that's considered very good because that 150 million is a lot of money. But this was ranked as a success, and like I say, other than this kind of error about what Abraham's possessions were, the movie is pretty good. And like I say, they flesh out a lot of things. And one of the interesting things is, of course, we have information about Abraham in the New Testament, and one of the things Jesus said was, uh, Abraham was rejoiced to see my day. Okay, Abraham at one point was given this vision of the entire salvation history, you could say. You know, he told him about the bondage in Egypt, that there would be a deliverer that would come, and all of the things. And that's kind of compressed down into a very short piece of the movie. But at the end, and you could almost miss it. You know, I had to back up because my wife didn't catch it. But he sees a stone being rolled away from a tomb and a bright light inside. And of course, he sees Jesus. I mean, he was shown all of this stuff. So, you seeing that, why is a stone being rolled away from, you might not get that and realize that no, Abraham was given this unique knowledge where he was shown what salvation history would be like in the future. And it's funny because, Abraham is considered the father of our faith. Christians say that, Jews say that, I believe. And he faltered many times. He did things that, he shouldn't have done. And that's, in a way, that's hopeful because it's like, oh, yeah, only really, Abraham keeps returning to God. It's not that he goes off horribly far, but he just doesn't. He lets the situation overwhelm his faith in some places. And, but like I say, that's helpful too, because it helps us know that, even as sinners, we can continue on in following Christ. And, we will make it. So, like I say, I think the movie was good. It was done by the same people that did the series The Chosen. And I did some talking about that before because I think The Chosen adds material that goes against the scripture. And they probably didn't notice it, the way they look at it. Now, my comments might say, they looked at one of my videos, I doubt it. They might have thought, no, it's what you're saying is out of line with the scripture. But I kind of didn't like the series Chosen, and we stopped watching it, my wife and I, because there were just too many mistakes. And, it's like, you have the Bible, you've got a plot, you've got a screenplay, whatever, and it's like, no, you can't just change things so it'll make the movie better. That isn't how it works. And yeah, you can flesh it out and be extremely careful not to go against the context of what that, scripture is saying. But anyway, that's it. I enjoyed it. My wife and I enjoyed it. I'd encourage people to see it. We watched it on Prime Video. It's free with the membership. And I don't know. There's an Angel app too. I don't know if you could watch it through that also. But it's interesting now because of the decreased cost in shooting a movie. You figure, 30 years ago, you're shooting everything on 35 millimeter film. With that film, you have to take, you have to do your takes. That gets rushed somewhere so that you can look at it the next day like a proof copy, and it's actually a negative material that they have to process it. It can be completely dry. Then they print it onto the stock, and that's what goes into the projector so that you can see it. So, I mean, that's a lot of lab work. And, the cameras were extremely expensive. The film was extremely expensive. And doing the lab procedure was extremely expensive. Now, people can get away with using high-end digital cameras that are, like for $7,000, you can get a camera that's going to rival anything that is out there that people are doing movies with. And while for you and me, $7,000 might seem like a lot of money, it really is inexpensive when you consider how much of the budget of a film went to making the film, buying the film, processing the film, reviewing the film, cutting and editing the film. I mean, that was a physical procedure. You had to cut something out and put it in. And two, the problem of not having instant feedback. That would mean that, say you've got this elaborate set you've got made. Well, you're going to have to probably leave that set up until you get that proof print back, and the director can look at that and say, oh, that's good. We can do it. We can go on. And now, of course, with digital, while a camera may cost a lot, but probably not as much as a 35 millimeter movie camera, it affords instant playback. So you could shoot a scene. Say you've got this elaborate set again. You look at the scene a couple times, and you could say, no, we have to change this. There's a mistake here. Oh no, the person didn't say the line right, or the lighting wasn't right. But you're able to see it exactly then. And I think that's what has allowed some of these niche market, which Christian movies are. There are other niche markets too, but the idea that having that massive reduction in the cost of movie making has allowed people to make successful movies that return good money on the investment of making them, and because of this idea how much less expensive digital is in the long run to actually using film. And some movies were shot on 70 millimeter film. So, and some, you can shoot movie on 16 millimeter film, which some were, but that doesn't hold up as well in a theater environment. So there we go. His only son, Abraham. Thumbs up.